Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of this training. In this session we will be discussing about SAP system parameters in detail. SAP system parameters in detail. So we have seen already what is system parameters. Then we also seen SAP systems are configured using system parameters. Moreover, each instance of SAP system also can be configured by system parameters, meaning to say one instance can have different parameter value than the other instance. Okay. By default, these parameters values are in the program code of this kernel. Okay. So whenever we change the parameter values, so the kernel will react based on that. Meaning to say, if you see the sequence of the way these parameters values are read, first it will take the environment variables from the SAP kernel. Then first it will take the environment variables by SAP kernel. Then it will start the system that we have already seen. Then it reads the default profile. Then it will start reading the instant profile. Okay, this is the sequence it's going to read. We also seen that we can change these default values using the profile file which are read during the startup process. The profile files are created during these profile files are created during the installation of system, and this can be edited later on. Okay, and so as we seen that we can change this profile parameters, meaning to say if you change this profile parameters, if this needs to be effective, for example in the start profile, okay, you change some profile parameters, but if you want that profile parameter needs to be effective, then you need to restart the system. Okay, you need to restart the system because that starting profile is read during the startup process only. Okay, this applies to default profile as well as instant profile. However, there is some profile parameters which support dynamic switching, meaning to say when the system is running you can change the values of the particular parameters. These parameters are generally very small parameters, meaning to say which has a very small impact on the system. This can be changed dynamically when the system is running. So now what we are seeing is the installation file which are installed during the SAP installation. Okay, when you are installing SAP with SAPinst, so SAPinst is basically a tool which is used to install. So the SAPinst is a tool which is used for SAP installation. So during the SAP installation, these files are created. We also seen these files are in the directory USR SAP and ECC, that is the SID. On that we have sys underscore on that inside that subdirectory profile. The directory can be read by all instances. Okay, and that is also one of the reason why the USR SAP is a shared folder in the system. Okay, since it's a shared folder, this can be read by all instances. Okay, if let's say it can be shared folder, or if you are installing in the Unix system, it can be a mount point where it can be read by all different instances. So SAP have three different profiles: start profile, default profile, and instant profile. In principle, you can change these profile values, that means you can change these files, the files which we have seen, by the operating system tool editor, for example the Notepad for Windows or VI in Unix. But the user must make sure that the changes they are performed is correct. Okay, if let's say if you incorrectly change something when you are editing manually in the operating system, then this can lead to a very critical problem, meaning to say that in the SAP may not start. What I'm trying to say, you can change using your operating system command or Notepad or VI, whatever the operating system editor. You can change that values or you can add something, but it has to be perfect. Yeah, if it is not correct, then it can lead into some another problem. However, you can maintain these parameters within SAP itself, which is quite easy, and it's also quite convenient, and you have all this profile and all the data inside. We will see that how to maintain within using the SAP, which is quite easier to do. Now we can see in this presentation, we can see the profile files details. Okay, first one is the start profile. Okay, the naming convention for the start profile is start, instant number, start, then the instance, then instant number, then the host name. Okay, this is the way which we have seen. So what does this start profile does? In general, yeah, we have a lot of parameters. In general, they specify which process are being start. For example, in each instance, in which process have been started in each instances. For example, like message server and dispatcher and this kind of information. Then we have default profile. Okay, this is the profile. This start profile is only to start the system. Okay, what is going to be started, and the default profile is a global parameter that applies to all instances. Okay, so the values which is available in the default profile applies to all instances in the specific SAP system. Okay, the name for the default profile is default.pfl, which is very simple. Okay, there is only one default profile for each SAP system. Okay, and it is read by all instances. Generally, it contains all the system-wide settings, for example, system name and database server, and the, for example, name of the NQ server, or for example default logon client. When we log into our SAP system, when you open our SAP GUI, you have seen the default client was 001. That is coming from the default.pfl. Okay, meaning to say this cannot be vary from one instance to another instance. It's for the entire system. The entire system ECC. Okay, these kind of informations we can keep in the default profile. Then we will come to instant profile. Instant profile is the parameter that applies to one specific instant. As we know, we can have more than one instance, so all the values applies to one specific instance are specified in the instance profile. For example, let's say the type of work processes. Okay, how many work processes in one specific instance, and this can be differ from one instance to another instance. The reason is that we have seen that you can have dialog process as different dialog processes and different background processes, and depends on the size and capacity of the system, we allocate different work process, different number of work process for each system. Maybe let us have a look into our system. Okay, this is our SAP system. Let's go to our USR SAP. Go to C drive, USR SAP. Our parameters are in the SID sys profile. Here we have the profile. Okay, we can see here the start profile start with start. Then we have the instance, that is DVMGS. That means this is the central instance, and then we have 00. Okay, 00 is the instance number, and the host name. ECC demo is the host name. So if I double click here, okay, let's open with Notepad. Okay, so we have quite a lot of information. We have system name, what is the host name, and the system number, instance name, this instance name, what is the, where is the executable files are, where the profiles are, and start program. So we have quite a lot of information. Mainly if you see, these are all related to initial start, starting the program in different directory, which directory you can get what kind of information. This kind of information are there. And if you go to the next one is the default profile. You can see here default.pfl, that is a default profile. Let's open this. Okay, let's use Notepad to open. If you see here, default profile also some which also has almost the same information, DB information, and also it has the host, and it also has the J2EE host name and the database name, and RSPMS host, and we can also see the logon client is 001. That is the standard logon client. If you want to change it to a different client, then you can change it here. Okay, this is actually a fresh system. Fresh SAP system does not have anything. That's the reason we have this standard logon client 001. In your scenarios, normal scenarios, we will not use this client 001. We will come to that, how to create client and all these things later sessions, but for now we are just using client 001 by default. This is just a default profile in this particular system when it is installed. We have not changed anything here. Okay, so let me close this one. This is default profile. Then we have the instance profile here. Okay, you can also see the 1, 2 and all these things are all different versions. We will come to that again. Let me open the instance profile. Okay, this is the instance profile for this particular server, and you can see the versions, and these versions also can be managed within SAP. If you are doing it by SAP, if you are maintaining this by SAP, that means within SAP, then these versions can be managed properly. Here you can see quite a lot of information for the specific instance. Okay, here you can also see like this is RSP/WP_no_DIA. that means work process number of work process dialog. Okay, that is 10. That's the reason if you go to our SM50, that you can see 10 dialog work process, and this is background process, how many background process, this kind of information is available here. Okay, and this can differ from one system to another system, as I said, depending on the capacity of the system, or how do you want to use the system. Okay, this is instance profile. This is how we can see it in the operating system level. Okay, however, it's not recommended to use operating system to edit the profile parameters. So let's go back and see what all the other options we have. Okay, now let's see how can we view these profile parameters inside SAP. Okay, we have two different ways. First one is a program called RSParam. This is a very useful param which you will be using quite often. This RSParam will display all the parameter value which is available in the system. Okay, and the second one is using the transaction code RZ11. In RZ11 you can display specific profile parameters, and it has lot of information. Let's see what all the information we have. Maybe we go to the system again, run this first RS param. Okay, we are in our SAP system. I'll go to transaction SE38. SE38. Okay, SE38 is a transaction code to run the programs. Okay, and I press enter. Okay, here is the program. You key in the program name here. This SE38 is not only to run the program, in fact, yeah, you can also create the program here. It will be used by a purpose, and there is two different transaction code to run programs. You have SE38, this is for editing and creating, also editing as well as creation, and you can also execute from here. And there is one more transaction codes /NSA38. okay, in this transaction code you can only run the program. Okay, here you don't have the edit options, you can only run this program. So you go to SE38 or SA38 and put the program name RS param and then execute. Okay, then let's execute again. Now if you see, it gives you quite a lot of information. Okay, this quite a lot of information. This particular program gives you all profile parameters, all parameters available in the system. Okay, not only the instance profile, for example, it gives you all these are all the directories which has been used, and you can also see here, yeah, you have a lot of information. When we open our startup and dialog, startup default and instant profile, you do not see this many parameter values, right? So meaning to say, there is lot of parameters by default which is defined in the kernel of the SAP. So if you want to make any changes on the parameters, then only you are going to specify that one in the profile parameters or the specific profiles. Okay, otherwise it has lot of values which already by default which is read in the which is described in the kernel. Okay, so this gives you all that values. That's the reason you can see quite a lot of values than the actuals, okay, than the one which we have seen. You can see the parameter name, and you can see the user defined values. Okay, what is the value presently defined, and you can also see the system default value. What is the system default value? And you can also see the system default value unsubstituted format, means it's a not changed format. Okay, and you can also see some comments about each parameters. Okay, this is a very useful program to check the parameters. Okay, let's go to the parameter which we were discussing before this rdisk/wp_no_dir. So this is for number of dialog process. You can also see BTC, that means background process, dialog process. We have one enqueue process, one spool process, and we have one update and one update 2. Okay, you can see the system default value is quite different than the one which is presently defined. So this is the one presently active. Okay, so we can see it like that. Now the second option is that RZ11. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me Control C. Let me copy this. Okay, if you want to copy anything, you can use Control C. However, let's say if you want to select the specific area, then you need to press Control Y, then Control C. Okay, now I will go to the transaction RZ11. Let's assume I don't know what is this or disp/wp underscore no underscore da. Okay, let's assume it like that. don't know, I want to know. Here also I have something, number of dialog work process. In some cases this may not be enough. Okay, then you go to RZ11, then you will come to the screen. It says maintain profile parameters. I'll paste this and say display. Here first thing is very important and very useful thing is for us is the documentation. Okay, this have the detailed documentation of each and every profile parameter, so you do not really need to memorize what is each parameter value means. If you want to know in detail, you can simply go here and find out what is it about. Okay, number of dialog work processes, and it says parameter number of processes that is available for processing the task in interactive users, that means dialog users. The number of work process is not however fixed for total life of the application server. Okay, but you can dynamically change by operation mode switching. Okay, it says that the entire life of this application server does not mean that this is fixed. You can dynamically switch this using operation mode, meaning to say this value is not possible to dynamically change from 10 work process to 5 work process. Okay, there is something called operation mode. We will come to that in our later session. Using this operation mode, you can dynamically switch this work process to different work process. Yeah, we will come to that. It's a very interesting topic, is operation mode, how we can manage the SAP system. Yeah, we'll come to that. It is possible. It says it is possible to switch this one using operation mode. Then work area, it's called dispatcher. Unit, yeah, what is the unit which we use? Number of work process. What is the default value, which is 2? Who is permitted to make the changes? The customer is allowed to make the changes. Limitation for operating system, none. We don't have any limitation for operating system. Limitation for database, no. Any other parameters are affected. This is also very important. Yeah, if you change this particular parameter, is any other parameter is affected. For example, when you do Java configuration, it's quite interlinked with each other. For example, you change from HTTP to HTTPS, some parameter you need to change. So what is the other parameter which is going to be affected with this change? That also will be listed here, so it's quite useful. Okay, so you need to, whenever you do any change in SAP, please read all the entire document. Remember this one, as a basis consultant, it is normal tendency as a technical consultant, we skip lot of documents which is written by the software vendor. But in SAP basis, SAP specifically, you need to read all the documents. When you are reading the installation guide, read each and every step, go through each and every note which is specified, because each one have different requirement and different impact. So you need to read everything. Okay, so please don't skip. So you need to read this. And valid entries, it can be 2 to 100. So it can be 2 minimum, it can maximum 100. Okay, we can, that meaning to say in one specific application server you can have 100 work process. Okay, in practical scenario, can we have 100? But I never seen somebody having 100. If you have so much bigger system, maybe possible. Yeah, so far what I have seen is 25. More than that, we prefer to add additional application servers so that the load can be distributed properly. Yeah, so valid type and format of this range is an integer value, so you can use only integer. Okay, this is a documentation, and you can see the profile name and number of this application area. Integer value, you can have the small values, you can see minimum value, and you can also maximum value. Dynamically switchable, if this is not dynamically switchable, if this is dynamically switchable, you can see one tick mark. Same on all application server, no, because this is specific to application. If it is same on all application server, then you can see a tick mark here. Okay, this is the default value 2, and this is the profile value, this is the current value. Okay, what is profile value and what is the current value? Okay, the profile value means the value which is in the profile parameter file. That means profile parameters. Okay, current value means that the value which is presently available. Okay, meaning to say when you change something, that means you made some modification in these profiles, modification in these parameters. However, the system is not restarted to become effective. So you have two values. The one which is presently, let's say I wanted to increase to 15. Okay, I will change this profile value to 15. I will change this parameter value to 15, but until unless I restart the server, the work process available for me is 10. So I have two values. I have 2 and the 10. Okay, so that is the difference between profile value and the current value. Okay. And if let's say you want to know the profile parameters, all the profile parameters which can be dynamically switched or dynamically changed, there is a table in SAP. So if you need to go to that table, okay, so to view the table we use a transaction code called SE16, SE16. It is called table browser, SE16. Then you will come to the screen where you can key in the table name which you wanted to see. So this information is stored in a table TPFYPROPTY. And I press enter. Now in this screen you can see the columns of the particular table, what all is available, and you can see the number of entries. We have something around 1341 entries. If you execute here, it will give you the object names. Yeah, here you can see the parameter names and whether it's dynamically switchable or not. Now you can see here, you can see object underscore name, parameter name, all these technical names. You don't know what is it means. Okay, in that case what we can do is, if you go back here, you don't know what this means, you go to setting, go to field selection, not field, go to settings, go to parameters. Here you can see the keyword. Now it is field names, you change to field label. Okay, so every record, every field in the table, you have a field name and the field label. So you select field label. Now you can see the label of each field, so you can understand this better. Okay, now you can see the parameter name. It is the data element is ABAP. Then you can see the parameter name and the data element and parameters type. So all the parameters which is dynamically switchable are listed in this table. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Okay, and we also have one more option to check the parameter in command prompt using this command SAP PF PAR. Okay, this have quite a lot of option. Check is one option where it will check and give you the detail of your SAP system. Okay, next let us see how to maintain the profile parameters. Okay, you can maintain the profile parameters using transaction code RSet 10. Okay, RSet 11 we have used it before for displaying the data. RSet 10 you can maintain the profile parameters. We also seen that profile parameters can be maintained in the operating system, which is quite dangerous. However, maintaining in SAP is quite easy. Okay, it has lot of advantages. Basically, we can have the profile administration maintained within the SAP itself. Yeah, it's a central kind of centrally you can maintain the uh, profile parameters. Then you can also check the consistency of the profile parameters. Okay, there is an option called consistency check in RSet 10, that using the consistency check you can check the consistency of your profile. Okay, and we will check that. And administration of multiple versions of profiles. For example, when we open our one of the instance profile, you seen the different versions, right? So we can also manage these versions within SAP. Within SAP, let's say you can create different versions, and let's say the reason behind that is if something goes wrong, you wanted to put the old version back, then you know what is the version, older version, then you can put the old version back. So it's quite easy to administrate. And as well as you can activate this profile parameters, whichever are also dynamically switchable, you can dynamically activate it quite easily. So, and my personal advice will be, like, whenever you are changing in a profile parameters, make a backup of the old profile parameters. Okay, and then you start changing it. Okay. Meaning to say, for small changes we don't do that. If you are going to change a lot of profile parameters, quite a lot of changes, then the system is already running, then you take a backup of the profile parameter, then you can do the major change. Then if anything goes wrong, then you can put back the old profile parameters and start the system. Okay, that is the reason I said that. So this diagram explains the profile parameters. Let's say, for example, this is in the SAP system, and we have in the operating system. Operating system we already seen, we have it in different profile parameters. Okay, the first step, as soon as you implement the SAP, the profile parameters are in the operating system. Okay, so you need to do an import of the profile parameters to the SAP system. Okay, and you need to check the consistency of the profile which we have created, and this again in turn you can inside SAP you can edit it, of course, and we will save it back to the operating system. So whenever you have any changes within the any changes which is done in operating system level, then you need to import it to SAP in order to save it in the database. Okay, then this activity can be done by the transaction code RSet 10. Let's go to the RSet 10, and it's easy. Okay, this is our SAP system. Go to the transaction RSet 10. Now you can see the screen. We have different options: create, check, copy, and import. So if you click import, let's say you need to define one profile. Let's say default, and say import. Then you can see where all this description. Then you can say copy it. Then it will copy to our copy to the database. Okay, if you select here, and these are all the present profiles available. You have default profile, instant profile, and start profile. Okay, so if you select one, then you can display, then you can see where this particular profile is being saved. Yeah, this is the place where we save this profile, right? Okay, here you can see you have create, you can create a new profile, and you have the check, that means check the consistency of the profile. Then copy, the copy is used to copy one profile to another profile name. Let's say, for example, I want to create one more profile, copy of this one, then I say copy, and you have this profile name and to another one profile, then you can copy it. Yeah. Then import. This import is basically you basically import the operating system profile inside this SAP. Okay, that is RSet 11. So how to start doing activity in the RSet 11? To perform the administration in this RSet, sorry, not RSet 11, RSet 10, first what we need to do is we need to import the files into the database from operating system. So for that, how do we do that? You go to utilities, go to import profile, and off all active server. That means you may have more than one instances in the particular SAP system, right? So we need to import all the profiles first. Okay, if you say all active server, now you can see it is imported. Okay, displays the profile check log. Import start in the active server. The following default profile is imported. This default PFL. This is the instant profile which is imported. This is the start profile which is imported. Okay, and this was the place from where it is imported. Complete check of instant profiles in the default. Completed the check in instant profile and the default profile in this present location. Okay, this is the first step what we need to do. So after doing this, that you can edit the profile parameters. So there are 3 levels of maintaining profile parameters. If you go back to our previous screen, you can see administration, basic maintenance, and extended maintenance. So the first one is the administration data, which contains which describes the file name and where it is being saved and this kind of information. Let's say if you go to display administration data, you can see, okay, this is the startup profile. Here you can see this is the location where it is saved and stuff like this. If you wanted to change, you go to change and you can modify this one. Let's say if you have a different start profile than this one, you wanted to change it to that one, then you can change it here. Okay, so this is the basic, like this is the first level administration data. Then basic and extended maintenance used to maintain or administrate or change the parameters of the specific profile parameters. Okay, now right now we have selected this one, the start profile, and if you go to display, you can see the system name ECC like this. Yeah, if you wanted to change this, if you go to change, then it is telling you to not to do this. Okay, so it's basically it's a start profile. It's not a good idea to change this, so we'll say no. Okay, and if you still wanted to change, you can change it. Okay, then if you go to extended maintenance, if you say display, here you can see the start profiles, each profile values. Okay, and profile values. Here also we can modify this. For example, if I take the go back, let me take the instant profile. Okay, this is the instant profile. You can see here we also have different versions. Yeah, if you say display, you can see RSP, this one. If you wanted to change, you can simply click here and change the values, and you can save that. Okay, it's very simple if you wanted to maintain it here, and you have all the logs which is within SAP, so it can come back and see what you have done and what was the reason to do that one. Yeah, that's quite useful to do it here. Then once you saved this one, let's say we did some changes in SAP. Now how are we going to change it? Okay, there is some steps we need to follow. Let's go to here. Okay, so first what we do, we take this into the import, and we edit this one, and we activate this profile. The time of activation, you will create additional versions. Okay, so no, we edit this profile, Then we save this profile into database, then we activate this profile. Once we activate this profile, then that will become effective, that the old will become ineffective, and the one which you have activated will become effective. Okay. Okay, then we have one more option here called check consistency. If you go to our SAP system, okay, we have this check the consistency of the profile. Not the system, it's check consistency of the profile. So in order to check the consistency, what it will do, it will check the consistency between the ABAP as well as the operating system. Yeah. So when you do the consistency check, if you click the consistency, then it will check the individual profile value. Also, it will check the consistency in the operating system. Okay, the both difference, because it may happen that you also do some changes in the operating system and you do some changes in the ABAP, then it's going to be mixed up. The value is going to be mixed up, so you need to always check the consistency. Also, is a better. It also check the invalid entries also in the profiles. Yeah, it's quite good. So how do we check that consistency? If you go to utility, then you say check all profile. So right now when I checked, we have some problem here. Default profile, there is some parameter which is not permitted. Okay, then in the instance profile also we have something. J2E cluster instance file does not exist. Okay. Okay, right now let's take first one, the default profile have some problem, right? You can also check like this for all profiles, yeah, all active servers. Otherwise we can also check here. Yeah, here also you can see there is a problem here, right? So we don't want to, I don't want to have this one. Then I say change, go to the change mode. So basically it says this is not permitted. Okay, DB name, you already have one. Okay, ACC. Okay, it says it's not permitted. We can simply delete it. Okay, this is to check the consistency of the profile parameters. We will leave it like that because to have some examples. So basically right now what we are doing is, when we do the check consistency, we did check the consistency between the database and ABAP. However, it also checked whether this parameter value is valid or not valid. Okay. Now let's do some changes in our system. Let's what do we change? Okay, let's change the same profile parameters, the one which we have seen. Let's go to SA38, the number of work processes. That will be a good example to check now. Okay, so right now we have work process 10 work process. Okay, how do we know how many work process we have? If we go to /n SM50, you can see dialog work process we have 0 to 9. That means we have total 10 work processes. Okay, so right now let's assume that process is running quite high. I want to reduce this number of work process running in this server. The scenario could be that you are going to add additional hardware and you want to keep 8 work process here, and you want to add additional 8 work process in other one, because this 10 work process seems to be quite high. Okay, let's assume it like that. So I wanted to change this to 8. So let's go step by step. So first what we will do, we will go to /n or is it 10. Okay, so this particular parameters were in the instance profile. Okay, this we already know. Let's select our instance profile and go to extended maintenance. I'll go to change. Now the version is 03. Okay, so as I said, it's always better you make a copy of your present profile in a temporary folder. Okay, always do that. In our case, okay, let's do that one. Go to USR app, ACC, then sys profile. I will say temp. I'll make a compressed backup. I'll change the date. I'll put one date. That is 11/04/2015. Okay, this is my backup, and keep it here safe. For if in case anything goes wrong, I can take it from here. Okay, that's what I did now. Okay, now let me go to the change option, then go to my parameters. This is RSP dialog. I wanted to change this. Okay, let me double click here. Instead of 10, I want to make it 8. Okay, once we did that one, now we need to say copy. Okay, if you want to add additional lines, we can add additional lines. If you want to remove lines, you can remove it. Say copy. Okay, now if you can see the command here. The old value was 8. Sorry, the old value was 10, which was changed by SAP basis, the user, and what date and what time we have changed. So we have a proper log of this specific change what we have done. Okay, now this is my parameter value. Now it is 8. Okay, let me go back. You can also see here it's 8. Okay, now if I check the consistency, okay, we still have some problem in the different profiles, different profile parameters. Okay, our profile parameter is fine. Okay, we can leave it like that. In a productive system, don't do it like that. Don't leave it like that. In productive system, you have to make sure that this is clear. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, this is a demo system, so we're just leaving it like that. Okay, so when I said copy again, then the changed profile has been transferred. Okay, that means it's copy means it's kind of save. Yeah, so you need to always save this one. So once you did that one, then you'll come back here, then you will do this. You need to save it again here. If you save it here, then it will create a new version of this particular profile. Now we save it. We will say save. Say incorrect parameter value was detected, you want to display. Okay, let's say yes. So I found it something. Fine, I know what is the problem. Save, come back. Do you want to activate the profile? Okay, so after we save, we need to activate this profile. Yeah, once you activate the profile, it will create an additional version. Okay, say yes. Now it is created a profile version 5. Okay, we are actually in version 3. Now we create a version 5. That means somebody else is working in this system, created another version. Okay, so we created version 5. Okay, now say okay. The effect of this activating this profile is that it is simply stored in the operating system level. Okay, we activated, that means it's simply saved in the operating system level. Okay, for the profile to take effect for the particular application server, you should restart the application server. Meaning to say, if you activate does not mean that it is active now. Yeah, it is just saved in the OS to keep the consistency. Okay, so say okay. Okay, now let's assume that I wanted to check whether the changes I have done, is it saved, really saved in the OS level or not. So let's go to our operating system, go to USR SAP, sys profile, and this is the profile we changed, right? So let's open it. You can see here this is the latest version 005 that we have changed, and here is our work process, yeah, which is now 8. Before it was 10, now it is 8. Now what we need to do right now, if you go to SM50, you still have 10 work process. Yeah, now let's restart the server. Okay, let me restart the server. Let's select here and say right click and shut down. Then once it is shut down, then we will start again. Okay, so let me pause this video till it shut down. Okay, now the system is stopped. Okay, we will start again. Again. Now the system is starting. I will pause this video first till the system starts. Okay, it seems the system already started. Okay, let me go to the work process. Okay, it's waiting now. Let's go to SAP logon. Let's log in with our user. Go to SM50. Now you can see we have dialog process from 0 to 8. Okay, sorry, 0 to 7. That means we have only 8 dialog process. Okay, we can, this is a way we can change or we can customize the system based on the profile parameters. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. Okay, with this we are coming to the end of this session. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.